Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Midlands African Chamber's Power Hour Business Development Virtual Live Stream, proudly presented by Google. I am Fidel Mienso, Operations Manager at the Midlands African Chamber, and I'll be your host today. We are thrilled to have you join us today for an insightful discussion on a very important topic: Inspire Omaha's Future Leaders with Partnership for Kids. Our guest today leads volunteer recruitment and management at Partnership for Kids. She and her team connect with the community to recruit, train, and manage over 150 volunteers. She has over 10 years of experience working in youth development and mentoring organizations. Before P4K, she managed immigrant and refugee youth mentoring programs at ICRI and Lutheran Family Services, served as a Peace Corps volunteer in the youth development sector, and taught life skills at Boys Town. She has also served as the World Refugee Day Omaha event chair for the past 3 years. We are honored to have with us today Lacey Adams. Lacey has a degree in history with an emphasis on Latin American studies from Nebraska Wesleyan University, and she is currently working towards a nonprofit management certificate under the MPA program at UNO. Today, we will discuss how Partnership for Kids is inspiring Omaha's future leaders. Partnership for Kids is a youth-serving organization that supports 2,300 youth in 15 OPS schools. P4K offers opportunities for businesses and individuals to engage and inspire our students through programs like mentoring, P4K Shark Tank, mock interviews, and many more. Without any further ado, please join me in welcoming Lacey Adams. Lacey, thank you for being with us today.
Hi. Hi, Fidel. How are you?
I am good, and yourself?
Good. Thank you for having me on here. I'm excited to share some of the initiatives we have going on with Partnership for Kids.
Awesome. Lacey will now share her presentations, and Lacey, you have 30 minutes. You may take it away.
Yeah, well, again, thank you to Midlands African Chamber for the opportunity to share with the community about our programs a little bit and how we can involve other people and partners in our programming and with our students and engaging. So today we wanted to talk about how we all can get involved in inspiring our future leaders in Omaha, and you can do that with P4K. So again, my name is Lacey Adams. I'm the volunteer recruitment and training supervisor. I manage a team of with 2 other people, and we're the community connectors out and about to get everybody involved and encourage our students. So Partnership for Kids is a little bit different than some of the other mentoring programs and after-school programs in the area. We say we're a continuum. So we start with students in kindergarten and pre-kindergarten and continue throughout their entire journey, middle school, high school, and post-secondary. I mean, a lot of that we say is that career and skill-focused programming. So there in the bottom, you can see we have some of our pillars of our program at P4K. One of the steadfast things that we see in our programming is goal setting. We know that's number 1 in helping students achieve any success. And so we begin that as early as elementary school age. So we start with our kindergartners through 4th graders. We do literacy work. We have volunteers in classrooms. We have them, discussing attendance and why it's important to go to school. And then our goal buddies in 5th and 6th grade, doing some more goal setting and starting to get autonomous. And throughout our programming with our other after-school programs in middle school, high school, even our post-secondary, all of them are focused on what is the goal that they want to achieve and how can they get there. So that's one of our pillars that we like to talk about because that's the foundation. Other one is mentoring. That's the model we use to engage with our students. So we say mentor is in many different forms. We do a lot of group mentoring at our office in our programs, but we know that mentoring is support, it's continuous, it can be the coaching method. So there's so many aspects we do here, but we do that throughout our programs from, again, kindergarten, pre-kindergarten through post-secondary, and post-secondary meaning any option college, trade school, whatever. So the other part is the college and careers. So that's where we're really the topics we dive into and start preparing, like I said, our future leaders. So we're talking about what is the plan that they're going to have when they graduate high school that's going to get them a mortgage paying job. And we'd love to keep them in the community. And so that's why we like to talk about it, expose our students to all of that Omaha and the greater Omaha area has to offer, which is why we look towards our local businesses and our local individuals and entrepreneurs and just leaders of the community to find a way to meet and engage with our students so that they know about the opportunities and want to continue to stay here. So like I said, we've been in Omaha 35 years, but Fidel had that great intro. 2,300 students is who we serve. So quite a few, and it looks like a massive number. And you can see we have our elementary schools. I like to do a map to see kind of the impact we have, because I'm a visual learner and some others out there might be too. And if you're good with directions, this is really easy to see. And just for a reference here, this is 72nd Street all the way, going north to south. East to west is Dodge. So I like to show this because, traditionally Omaha is it's a segregated city. I know there's so many initiatives and things that are talking about that and really diving into that. But our programming is all primarily east of 72nd because we want to be in the neighborhoods that have need. These schools are all identified by OPS and Partnership for Kids Together. So we don't just select where we want to go and say, great, we're going to go to this school, let's go. We really work with Omaha Public Schools and their administration to identify a school that would be a great fit. The school has to say, yes, okay, we can go into that school. And then we train teachers, we work with students, and we engage families. And then we have volunteers come in and partner. And so they're really partners with not just Partnership for Kids, but also with the schools where we're at. And if you know anything about Omaha Public Schools and have been following some of the news and things, 108 languages spoken across OPS, or more than 108 languages. And that is reflected a lot in our schools that we are in. And so we have a really diverse student body that we serve, a lot of, diverse families, culturally, ethnically, just different experiences. So we're really fortunate to have so many great people that can come and support those students and give them new experiences as well outside of what they might know. But I just kind of wanted to touch a little bit on these schools where we are at in case something rings a bell or you've heard about it maybe and you can want to learn more. You can reach out about what we're doing there. And I'll talk a little bit afterward as well on some of our specific schools. Elementary schools, we're in Bell Ryan, Gifford Park, Franklin Elementary, Fontanelle Elementary, and Sherman. And all of those schools are identified because those schools we call our feeder schools into our middle schools. So again, when we talk about the continuum, we want to start with them when they're young and be able to offer services to them throughout. So those elementary schools, those students have the option to attend those middle schools. And we see a lot of them doing that. They choose middle schools, again, based on where is the large percentage of our students going to go. So our middle schools, we have Lewis and Clark, McMillan, Monroe, Norris, and Mars. And so those middle schools then again feed into those high schools where we're at. We have Central, Benson, North, Northwest, and South. And what's really cool about these schools is for our middle and high schools, we have a program coordinator that's in charge of each of those schools. So when I say we have a relationship with them, it's very specific to the needs of that school. It's whatever the principal and the teachers there and the culture of that school is very different. So we understand. And that's why if, when we have volunteers interested, it's really a conversation about what you like, what you're looking for, your interests, your flexibility, and all of those things. So, there's no perfect science to volunteering sometimes, but we try to do well with it. But we have a really diverse range here and it's really fun. So I'm going to get into now our mentor opportunities. What does that look like then when you are interested in this, and how can you be that inspiration for those students? So we say some of the things we work towards is engaging our students. We have one-on-one relationships, experiences, support. We really believe that, students, academics are great, curriculum's great, but knowing someone and finding someone that connects with them can really change a student's future. We want to enlighten them through goal setting and career exploration, showing them the things maybe that you've learned, that you've studied, how then we can encourage them through that long-term support to get them to a similar, end where they also can be successful, like our volunteers that are also able to give back. And so, that connection and being able to find somebody that is just there to support throughout is really what we're looking for in a mentor, and that consistency. So we have different levels though. Maybe middle schoolers aren't your thing. Maybe high schoolers aren't your thing. Maybe they're intimidating or scary. I don't know. So we do have all sorts of levels. And that's why I said it's really, what do you want? So our book buddies is where we start. There's a lot of them. We're just now starting to align with Governor Pillen's initiative that all students should be able to read and have mentors that are helping them read. And then more recently, Omaha Public Schools new superintendent has really placed an emphasis on students should be able to read by third grade. And that would be a goal that Partnership for Kids is really trying to support. And so we have book buddies, which are volunteers that go in during the day and they read to third and fourth grade students. And so they have small groups. So one volunteer with, 4 or 5 students. You have a themed book that you'll read, and then an activity that's associated with that theme. It's really fun. The students get so excited when somebody that's not their teacher comes in. And so, you're basically a celebrity just by showing up. And it's twice a month. So, sometimes there's other opportunities that can be really, really high commitment. Twice a month for an hour, 2 hours a month, that's so small in the big scheme of the difference that you're making for these students and encouraging for their future. So that's a really great opportunity. The dates are all preset. So when people are considering, is this fit for me? Can I make it? We've already done all the hard work. We have a full calendar. You can look at it. You can say, yes, I can make it. No, I can't make it. Is there another option? We can send you a new one. So we really try to do the hard work, having everything prepared for you. Even if you're intimidated by reading books, maybe, some words are just going to catch you up. We have program coordinators actually read the book ahead of time that is videotaped. So you just can listen to it to hear it even before you go in case, you have anxiety about being in front of the small students. But this one's really fun. Students really, they kind of open your eyes, elementary students, and getting, we all learn a certain way, but these students are having a full different experience, and we really can learn from them too. And it's a great way to learn what's happening in the community from, like the most innocent population. So the next one is our goal buddies. So literacy is the big focus in pre-kindergarten through 4th grade. 5th and 6th grade, we start to talk about how they can be setting goals that they're reaching and how they can take a part in achieving those goals themselves, and also how to ask for help when needed. So we do the small group model again with our 5th and 6th graders. We have the discussion piece with pre-written questions by our program coordinators sent out to you ahead of time. So again, nothing to take you, surprise you. And then an activity that's related to that discussion. So that's also twice a month with those preset dates. So those ones kind of go together. If you're at, say, down at the bottom, I think we had needs here. I'm just going to backtrack real quick. So Fontanelle and Franklin are where we would send book buddies right now. We have a high need for those people attending at those times of the day as well listed. And then Fontanelle, Gifford Park, and Franklin are goal buddies. And so they're opposite times. If we have book buddies in the morning, at the same school, we'll have goal buddies in the afternoon. So, but again, it's just based on your location, your availability, and then the needs of our schools. And that's how we kind of find that right place for you. So now group mentoring, that's the more traditional model that people think of. This is where we're engaging with students in 6th through 11th grades. We're talking about goal setting. We're talking about the career opportunities that they could start exploring, relationships with, any individuals, their friends, adults, teachers, all of that. Financial vitality is a big part, and we'll talk about that in a little bit with our Shark Tank opportunity. And post-secondary opportunities. So starting to consider, what do I need to do to be able to pursue a certification, trade school, those things. And that one is an after school program though, 3:30 to 5. And this one we say twice a month. So I don't want to, pinpoint it exactly, but similarly, we have theme discussion and an activity based on it, all provided ahead of time by the program coordinator. So that's really cool. It's really different to start mentoring in that safe place at school where you have a program coordinator there to kind of help guide you in conversation and building relationship with students. But then you can use that curriculum and the discussion questions that we provide to really take off and have an opportunity to get to know those students. And then if you feel so inclined and it's a really good match, we can actually officially match you, where then you can engage with those students outside of the classroom and outside of just P4K programming, and take them out into the community on your own. You can message them, check in, and really further that relationship than just in our programming after school. So that's a really neat opportunity. That's in our middle schools and our high schools. If we were fully like booked with volunteers, we would have over 90 volunteers in our schools. And that is not the case right now. COVID, we all went back home. People were working. They've got different schedules and things. And so we're really starting to try to rebuild up our volunteer base. So that's a group mentoring. But we know not everybody can do long-term all the time. So how can we continue to engage with students in different ways that maybe is a little bit shorter? And so this is where we get into Shark Tank. It's really fun. So Shark Tank is a thing we do each year with our 8th grade students. They learn about financial vitality. So they're focusing on entrepreneurship. So they get a model. They develop their own model in small groups of 4 to 5 students. And we have business coaches come in and help them make their plans and, talk to the students about their skills, who should do what, who's creating the recipe or making it your chef, if you will, who's doing our marketing, who's going to do our pitch. And so it's a really fun opportunity to teach kids those skills. And then we have Sharks volunteers also come in, and they get to be the judges of the student's presentation using a rubric. Our business coaches, we still need quite a few of those. Specifically, I think I listed down here Mars, and I know Norris, we need those a lot more. But these ones are a really great opportunity to get involved in that type of mentoring where you're working with students consistently, but it's short term. This is just from September to late September to the end of October. But that's the one where I think, especially the Midland African Chamber partners have such knowledge and experience, and they've already gone through that system of what it takes to be a business owner or work towards having their own business or, being in a small business. So they really have the experience that could speak to these students. And so many of these students are interested in entrepreneurship. They have their Canva designs ready to go for their craft shop, and having people come in that, look like them, have so much in common with them, makes a huge difference. So I'd love, opportunity to speak with anybody interested in Shark Tank, and some other short-term volunteer opportunities we have. We have a futures fair, which is where our middle schoolers come, and we have partners and businesses have tables, and our students get to go and visit every single table and learn about what it means to work there, what they offer, the types of different businesses and work available in Omaha or the greater Omaha area. And it's a really cool and fun way for students to, again, have a really close version of all of the jobs and things they haven't seen before. So we can't always take all the students out to find those things, so we bring them to them. So that's Futures Fair. We have opportunities like Lego builders. 6th graders doing a Lego lesson, there's 20 of them and one program coordinator with a couple of mentors, and each of them have a Lego set. That's a lot of try to be hands-on. And so we offer opportunities for volunteers just to come and sit with students and start engaging with them in those STEM-focused activities. Mock interviewers, we work with our 10th graders on interview skills and how they can speak about their experiences. And maybe if it's not a job, it could be something else, and how that can relate towards work, and how they can really advocate for themselves. It's really a tough skill for a lot of them. And we're focusing now also on language and dual language interviews. So this last year we developed a Spanish interview, mock interview questions as well, so those students could highlight that. So we're really looking for diverse people to represent the different types of interview experiences for our students and get them practice so when they go out there, they're successful. High school career panelists, again, we want to show them all of the types of things they might not have seen before. And there's so many creative jobs and ways people get into their careers. And we would love to share that with our students. So that's also another opportunity that we have once a year. And then always internships and job shadowing. Students don't know it till they've done it sometimes, that they might like it, they might not like it. And so we like to have opportunities available to them from our partners that say, yeah, you can come in and see what it looks like. You can follow me around for half a day and check it out. It's mentoring again in that different way of you're really supporting that student on their journey to try to find what they would like to do for their future. And maybe if it fits or it works out, now you're developing your future staff that could be at your business and really building it up. So those are really great opportunities, again, that are short term, that they might not be seeing the student all of the time, but it's a great start into programming. And a lot of these build up with us at P4K. Maybe you do one or two of them, and then we can expand in the future about what your business or what you as an individual can contribute to the organization. That focused on something that you really felt passionate about and saw a need for while you were with us during these other short-term things. So we see that happening a lot, of transition from maybe one of these ones to something else. So how do you know how to get involved? We have Vomo is the page, is it's an app. It's also available on a desktop, but it's a hub where you can see a lot of different volunteer opportunities at one time. So here in the picture, there's a little example of what some of our opportunities we have now. So we have Shark Tank posted on there, and they have the dates. You can see which one fits for you and click join. We have our other opportunities, Goal Buddy, Book Buddy, mentoring. Sometimes, our Lego coaches will be on there. Mock interviews will be on there. So it's a really great way to just stay up to date with some opportunities to get involved with us. And also, if you just follow our page, we'll see all your information that comes through, and you can message us through there or contact us, and we can get connected to you. And maybe you want to discuss other opportunities or things you see, ways to collaborate based on the schools we were at or the types of programming. So it's a really great opportunity to connect here. But I also have my contact information as well, because again, recruitment, we do all the things. We just like to bridge that gap between all of the people that are interested in supporting our students and connecting them to the ways that are going to work for the programs and students we have currently. And so our telephone's on here. Mentor@p4k.org is one of the easiest ways to get connected, that we can reach out to you. You can also check out our website where we post a lot of the things, and you also find opportunities sometimes for donations or being a part of our fundraisers. And getting involved with the development team is another way. But otherwise, my personal information is down there. And again, just having a conversation, let's just sit down and talk about ways we can get together to make our students successful, find their careers, find their pathways, and want to stay and be that workforce in Omaha and be the ones that take care of us eventually later. So we want to make sure it's done well, I guess. So Fidel, that is the end of my information I have right now. I will kind of hand it back to you if there's any questions or.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lacey, for that great presentation. Now let's dive into some questions.
Yeah.
How do programs like mentoring and P4K Shark Tank help in developing essential skills for students? And what specific benefits have you observed from these programs?
Yeah, so there's life skills. I said that's one of my favorite things to teach and talk about. Students, I think, sometimes in school get really focused on curriculum. They get focused on like just the reading and writing pieces, that sometimes we miss out on the other opportunities to develop the social skills, things like shaking hands and why that might be important, eye contact. Those, the Shark Tank, we do financial vitality, where we're talking about, it's long-term planning to make a business. You don't just get to come out and it happens right away. And so mentoring and those types of opportunities at Shark Tank develop some of those skills in a less, it's not tested, it's less stressful situations where they can feel comfortable to explore it. And we know at Partnership for Kids, the OPS graduation rate this last year, I think when they released the data, was 73%. Partnership for Kids graduation rate, when we track the students that have participated in that from 10th grade on, is 93%. So we are seeing that by having support for our students and just being present and helping them through some of those really tough situations, that they're more likely to graduate. So
That's wonderful. Um, Next question is, what are some of the key challenges that students face in their personal and academic lives, and how do P4K's initiatives address these challenges effectively?
oh gosh, students have they're a really tough time. There's always, I think, something different coming around, and I think it's really important to realize, sometimes we come with the mindset that we always know better, because the way we learn things and we grew up is the right way. And so I think one of those things is, right now there's really a part for youth voice, and like being heard and finding places for them to be heard can be really difficult. Again, school is very high level. Um, it's a feeling like they failed, right? Grades and things make them feel bad. So I think that's one. Two, COVID, being at home, I think isolation and mental health. Mental health, if you were to ask students right now what they would like to see more from mentoring programs, from schools, from any type of programming, is they would like mental health resources. And mentoring is one of the ways that you can connect them to someone, that is there just to, be that support, be that person that connects them to things maybe they haven't seen. It connects them to something that, they really care about, that, maybe other people weren't there to introduce them to bridge for them that gap to get there. The other, like transportation, for example, we're really fortunate. We have some great mentors that help our students get to those summertime clubs and things that, they wouldn't be able to get to otherwise. So that's, I think, a couple of the huge ones. I also know with our students specifically, we're at about 50% Hispanic Latino. I think like 10% Asian students, 30% African American Black. That sometimes like language and this like dual culture barrier can be a really tough time for students. Their parents grew up one way with maybe some really strict practices, or maybe they didn't even grow up in the US and know the school system and everything. And now these students are trying to get through that system by themselves sometimes. Their parents say go, their parents say do it, but if they don't know how and don't feel like they see the benefits of it, then why would they do that? So I think that's a challenge for students too, is like, listen, their parents and their culture here and their family culture versus the American culture and what that is. And so I think being part of programs like P4K, it puts you with other students. And, we do like to value the other experiences they have. We like to engage families with our programming. We like to have, world holiday parties instead of just like Christmas, because we know not everybody celebrates Christmas. So how can we bring other pieces into that? Last year we had at Monroe Middle School, Karen and Kareni crafts that they were doing just to kind of celebrate what they do at that time of the year. So we really try to be inclusive in that situation, knowing that a lot of students feel this weird pressure about being in that middle space. So, really, again, providing support, and that you're not doing it by yourself either. You're not the only one sometimes, and finding other people and places to connect is a really big deal for them.
Thank you for sharing that, Lacey. And that's very important because being from different cultures, coming to the US and trying to navigate the system and assimilate can be very challenging for some of our youth. So it's great, especially that mentoring piece, because sometimes, students have parents, but they may not necessarily feel comfortable sharing some of the things they may be going through with their parents. But when there's someone else outside that is another adult that they can connect with, that they feel like they can relate to, it's easier for them to open up. So yes,
Exactly.
I definitely get it.
That's exactly what we see happening sometimes. The things that they'll tell a mentor that they won't tell their parents is, yeah. And so now we have a safe person that can check up on them. Maybe if it wasn't that safe, now we have somebody though that can make sure that they are being safe. So it's a really important piece, I think.
Definitely. Well, let's dive into our next question. In what ways can businesses and individuals get involved with P4K, and how do they maximize their impact on the students they support? As you know, the Millions African Chamber is a chamber of commerce. Most of our members are small business owners, so we definitely
Mhm.
want to encourage them and let them know in what ways they can definitely support what your organization is doing.
Yeah, there's so many. I think that's some of our main a volunteer base is businesses. So we see a lot of people volunteer together. So in our goal buddies, for example, we'll have two groups, and they'll each go into a classroom together. So there'll be five, maybe five, six people going into one classroom. So a lot of businesses will have a couple of people go together. So it's that accountability piece, but they still get to be present and talk to students about what they're doing, because a lot of the questions that we have and built into our discussions with elementary, with middle school and high school, is around our volunteers' own experiences. So now you get to share, what it's like to be a business owner, or what hobbies did you have that got you to that point of where you're like, oh yeah, I should start this, or I want to work at a place like this. And hearing that can really resonate with students, I think. And so that's why we like to have businesses, because again, our program coordinators and all of us at P4K, a lot of us are social workers or teachers. And so we all have this perspective. So we need volunteers that really, are providing a much different experience and perspective for our students. So that's one way I'd say, businesses coming together and being able to say, you know what, we're going to take on this school. We love to be here at Gifford Park. We'd like to have 3 volunteers come and participate in that way. So that's one way businesses, I think, find an easy way to get involved. The other one, obviously, Shark Tank. Shark Tank speaks, I think, to that entrepreneur person. You love business, you love the idea of like something brand new, and students get so excited, again, to have other people to talk about their ideas with. And, sometimes though it's middle school, so you got to rein them in, and make sure that they have good plans and everything. So Shark Tank is a really fun way to start kind of coaching those students, because again, so many people as part of Midlands African Chamber have gone through that process of trying to discover who in your team has what skills, what's some good branding that's worked and what's not good branding that's worked. A lot of people have gone through that, and so they can really help our students to have good habits to start with and teach them those ways. They have $100 budget. Now they have to budget with that, so a lot of different opportunities within Shark Tank to connect with students and really get a lot of lessons out in just, 4 to 6 weeks. So that's a great opportunity. Even the shark judges, being able to give really good constructive feedback to our students when they give a business plan, because not only like you're giving feedback, but it's still to 8th graders, right? Like they're 13. So how, sometimes that can be a little bit different, but that's super important. The way you phrase it and everything can make a huge difference. And if a student wants to consider, continuing on their entrepreneur journey or not. So I think that's a really good opportunity as well. Just Shark Tank is a really fun one. And then mock interviews as well. Like I said, that if we can get students to be confident and to be able to, talk about themselves and their skills, and be able to hear from real business people, not just like us, again, that are teachers, just, pretending to do it with them, but other people they haven't met, being able to say, yes, you can. That's huge for them. So, and 10th graders, they're already out there trying to go and get jobs. And those are a lot of the, our up and coming students that we're looking for to be the new creators of different programs at our own small businesses and things. So mock interviews is a great way to connect as well. And it's one day, so it's a really easy one to do that. Honestly, there's so many businesses are like one of our things that we love to work with at P4K. The other one is like in development opportunities. We have some businesses come and do our golf tournaments and stuff. It's opportunities to connect with our golf tournament fundraisers, opportunities to connect with other business people in the area. So when we have a couple businesses sign up and then other ones sign up, now you're just at a networking space. I think that's an opportunity as well that is kind of not always shared is just being present at some of the other small things, like when you receive an invite to shoot. I think we have an open house, coming to those open houses, if we're able to share it on the Midlands African Chamber page, and you can see that and just come and connect and meet other people that might help you with your own business or another opportunity to get involved. So some things just come out in conversation. You talk to the business and you're like, we really love this. And all of a sudden we're like, whoa, we've got 6 students that are super into, I don't know, drones. And this person's talking, and then he's like, oh, that's what I do for my business. And it's like, amazing. Can you just come and speak to these students? Sometimes it's organic. And so I think the biggest thing is reaching out if people are interested or want to get involved. And there's sometimes opportunities that, even if it's not listed, you can kind of make it happen. Because again, we really like to feed and still to the needs of our students. So, so many ways.
That's excellent. So, your Shark Tank program kind of reminds me of our Rising CEOs program that we also have for the youth ages 14 to 19. And throughout that program, they learn how to put together a business plan. They also learn how to put together a pitch deck. And then on their graduation day is when they actually, deliver that the pitch, their business idea, and the first place winner gets a chance to win $500 towards as seed money towards their business, to invest in their business. So this is excellent. Like, I'm so happy that we're all doing similar things in the area, to bridge that gap and also help our the youth start thinking about entrepreneurship very early in their educational journey.
Yeah, I think that's a great example too. Like, you started here, we're doing it with 8th graders. And then now maybe when they're just like, if they're older and they have their own plan now. So we just started, everybody does popcorn together. And so it's kind of a guided opportunity. But now, okay, they've got it in their head. I said, I had some 6th graders that already had the idea of their craft business. And they would be like, do you have a printer? Can you print off my Canva design? And, so they have it. So now they get a little bit more tools with support from, professionals. And now when they go to something like, your other programs that you have, and just suit up even. Another one. Like, they start mock interviews here. They can go to Suit Up and they can continue to just build on.
Yes.
And just, with all of these other organizations, just like you said, supporting, they're going to have so much more experience now by the time when they're ready to do what they want to do.
Definitely. One last question though. Do you guys have any incentives for the Shark Tank? Like, does the winner get anything? And if so, what is that? What does that look like for you guys?
Yeah, so we have, each school has its separate competition. So they have probably 4 or 5 groups at every school, depending on the student numbers. And then they have their day where they're pitching, and we have the Sharks come in and judge. And then the winning group, that is the popcorn that they will go and sell to a business place. And so we have partners that host our students to come and sell. And so, or they plan to sell. So I think one of the groups last year sold it at one of the middle school basketball games. So then they get to, they have their budget and everything, like $100 to buy all their materials and stuff. And they get to decide their prices then. So then when they go out and sell, the money that they collect, last year, because 2 years ago, it was a little bit late. And so I think they had, and just funding wise was interesting. So they had a party for themselves for the entire class with the money, but that team got to pick what it was and get to decide all of the things with it. Last year, the money that they raised goes to a service project. So the students are also in charge of, not in charge, but they plan a service project every year, because we also want to talk about, what it means to give back, and the ways that they can be creative with that, and, think of the things that, they have some stuff, what can they do for others? So they take that money and they develop a service project out of it. So each school, then we have 5 winners. We have 5 businesses or some sales sites where our students get to go and actually sell to other individuals. And then they also collect that money, and then they get to do a service project with it. So, yeah.
That's excellent. That's excellent. So how does the mock interview program prepare students for their future careers? And what skills or insights do students gain from participating in these interviews?
Yeah, so it's kind of a buildup. We don't just like throw students into the interview and say, "Great, we have some adults here. They're going to ask you questions about this job. Hope you're ready." We like to prepare them ahead of time. We do resume writing, which really can start that idea of thinking on the skills that they have and what experiences they've had that have kind of they can speak about or how to speak about it. They do practice interviews. We also do things like strength finders tests with our students so that they have, again, other things to talk about that they know for themselves. Like, I am good at this. I do have these skills. So we try to prepare them ahead of time. And then the mock interviews is their day to come in. And it's not, we don't have all students do it. So these are students that signed up that want to come in and participate. And so I think that's something I didn't mention before. All of the students in our 6th grade through 11th grade are choosing to be there, are choosing to participate. They apply. And so it's not some of those where you get those students that are like, oh, I don't want to be here. I have to do it. No, they get to participate. They want to, they apply, they show up for this. And I also forgot to say that they added incentive for participating in some of these extra ones, like mock interview, for example, and some like field trips and things. We offer scholarships at the end of 12th grade. And so sometimes, they're preparing for that stuff as well. So that's another incentive that we've added by participating is the scholarships. But so for mock interviews is one of them. They choose to be there. They signed up to go. They have some ideas, and some of them, are really nervous, and you can tell they haven't actually done it with someone they don't know before. Because a lot of students, I think, some of their first jobs might be with family members or somebody that they're used to, and they maybe didn't have to interview. They just, get the job, or they decide they want to mow lawns, and that's what they do. So they haven't done that official practice with a professional, like a hiring professional. And so the mock interviews gives them that chance to kind of get it out of their system. Even as adults, they say do as many interviews as you can, so you just get practice. So that's really what we're providing for our students is that opportunity to do so. And so, yeah, we have individuals. We like to try to find um, interviewers that are from different fields. Again, I said we wanted to try to start incorporating language in different dual language or bilingual interviews, because that's another skill set that we don't talk about that really helps elevate some students to be able to take a job and make more money than if they were doing it just English. So that's some of the things that we like to try to start talking to them about, so that way they can go and be successful when they do want to get their job or pursue something else. So it's a lot of skills. I think they walk away sometimes more not being about specifically the job interview itself, but more of the confidence and the way they speak and the way they just present themselves, I think, are some of the skills more so that are taken away from that experience.
That's awesome because even as adults, going to an interview can be pretty daunting.
It
So
is.
the more you do it, and the more you can practice, the better it gets, and the easier it gets. It just becomes more organic and just, it becomes easier. It doesn't feel so much like an interview anymore because you've done it so many times. So yes, it's definitely good.
Exactly. And I know too, last year, one of the feedback was they need to dress up for it. And I was like, this is where the suit up program. So I sent it to my team already, the one that's coming up, and said, if students don't have it, now it's their opportunity. No excuses, because there are places where they can go and get suited up for interviews and be ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, no, one feedback that someone gave was like, hey, they should probably wear like nice clothes so they feel confident. I was like, that's a great example. So that's again where like programs just tie together sometimes really well.
I love it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love it. The partnership and the collaboration is awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, what roles do partnerships with schools play in the success of P4K's programs, and how can schools better collaborate with P4K to enhance students' outcomes?
Yeah, so we are inside all of the schools like that we said that we're at. We don't just recruit students from those schools. We have classrooms there in the school that we have our after school programming. And so it's really easy for students to get there. Our elementary schools, since we're there during the day, that partnership it would not exist unless, again, the administration, the OPS administration, the principals there, and the teachers there said, yes, that's okay, come into our school, we're going to give up 30 minutes every other week just to P4K and our volunteers to come in and assist our students. So that one, they've been really great about it. We do teacher training before we start with those teachers so they know what to expect. We give away a lot of prizes at the end of the year, so teachers let us bring in full carts of things. For our book buddies, we send books home every time that we go into the school. So every other week, we bring a new book into those classrooms, and all of the students get that book. And so, that's materials now that are just sitting in the classrooms too, that the teachers are like, okay, put it away. So they've been really great at Partners for Elementary School. Then in middle school and high school, like I said, they give us classroom space to work in. A lot of the teachers will continue to support the students, or check in or just be present there in the afternoons when we're out and about. They let us do other programming too. So we have Whispering Roots come in to present, and we do a cooking lesson at the schools. So we did that in elementary school, or sorry, not elementary, in middle schools, and then we did it in high schools as well. So they give us space to do cooking. We have, oh gosh, there's just so many things. The schools are pretty important, and I think us being in the school is a really neat for the after school opportunity. For mentoring, if you are wanting to be a mentoring program inside inside Omaha Public Schools, you have to be a partner with Mentor Nebraska. And so it is a process, and they want to make sure that we're doing all the safety things. So all of our volunteers get background checks, and we want to follow those policies. And that can be kind of difficult and hard to get through. But again, it's worth it for the safety of our students, and we want to be a good partner with OPS. And we also actually get ROIs for our students. So our program coordinators can actually work with the counselors and teachers to request grades and checks and things for our students, just to help them out, because sometimes they're struggling, and we can step in on their behalf and ask some questions maybe that they didn't know to ask, and really help them out. Because otherwise, we'd have to hope the student knows what to ask and, I don't know, whisper it in their ear so they can talk to their counselor. It's really hard for them to access sometimes. And so we have program coordinators that we're able to get the ROIs from the families and everything, send them to OPS, so OPS knows, okay, Partnership for Kids can get this information, can support this student. So that's a really neat opportunity too. That can be really, really hard to get with the schools. And so we have a really good system. Every year we get a bunch of them, we send them over, and they work with us really well to make sure that we can get access to student information that's going to be necessary to make sure they succeed. So yeah, it's pretty good so far. I think they've been really great about it.
That's great. That's awesome, because it's one thing for you guys to have this program going on as an organization. However, if your partners are not, as vetted into it, as you guys are, then you won't be able to see the benefits or the profits of what you're actually doing. So it's good to know that, OPS schools, their principals, and everybody is really on board and is helping your organization with just collaboration. So that's awesome. That's great to know. And
Yep.
I love the fact that everybody who is a mentor is going through that mentorship program so that they are vetted, because the safety of our students, our children, is very, very important. So I
Yep.
was very happy to hear that.
Yeah, and I think again, being at the schools, I've talked about with the different populations, and we see the shifts. We get the second bus, so all of our students can ride that second bus home, so we don't have to worry about that transportation then, because that could be the hardest thing if you're out and about. How do we get students there? Well, since we're at the school, the students can take that second bus home. And so I know for some communities that kind of it's hard to send their students outside the house if they don't know what's going on, or to commit to another program somewhere. Like, I don't know, I don't know what you do over there at your building. I don't know how I'm going to get my student there and back or something. It's really easy to say, oh, this program's at school. Oh, you can take the bus home. Like, yeah, of course you can go. Why wouldn't you go do this college career exploration thing? So yeah, that makes it really easy for us and for families to feel like safe.
Yes, absolutely. The transportation piece is a very important part. There are so many different opportunities out there for us after school programs with various organizations, but transportation does play a key role in whether the students or the participants are actually able to stay in that program and successfully complete that program. Because
Exactly.
it's one thing to start and to be excited, as a parent, you sign up your child for this,
Hmm.
for this program or whatnot. But over time, if that transportation key is not consistent, they will not be successful in the program. So kudos to you guys for that. I love it. I
No,
love
we're
it.
really lucky. Again, really lucky to be there.
Yes. All right. Well, let's move on to our next question. How can PK4 measure the long-term success of its programs, and what metrics or indicators are most useful in evaluating the impact on the students?
Yeah, so I think I mentioned earlier, one of the things that we like to look at is graduation rates. So we started off with our mentoring programs that they're, we start in sixth grade, but really we start the measurement for like our scholarship program that's we're tracking is if they are involved by 10th grade, the middle of 10th grade, and they continue throughout to graduation. We're able to track all of those ones, how many participated, and the rate at which the students that were participating in our program graduated compared to students that weren't involved in the program. And that's where I said we did see a significant difference in the last year. When I get 73% dropout, it's pretty, not dropout, sorry, graduation rate. That's a high rate than the students that are dropping out in high school. And so the fact that, the students involved with us, because 5 schools, a lot of grades, we're serving, I think, in mentoring over 200 some students. And so if we know we're seeing 93% graduation rate, that's a big deal for students. Again, being most of our students are first generation, that's really huge for them and their families, because the opportunities then if they graduate are really, really are much better. And the chance at least is better for them to do that. And then I think the other thing we look at is our literacy rates in the schools that we're at. And so we would, they have measurements that they do within the schools, but then we're looking at when we're in those classrooms, do we see a change in those reading levels? And so that's actually a measurement tool that we see yearly. So we have goals in our Goal Buddy program that they each are reading a certain percentage, like, a week. And so, our number of minutes, and they can check on that. And students that get their goal get prizes. But then the teachers are also looking, okay, did we get a improvement grade? Did we all test at like a certain rate, or did we all improve this much? And so that's something that they're looking at as well, is the literacy rates in the schools where we are. And they've also seen that's been improved, which is why we've been given the opportunity now. We used to just have one volunteer read to a whole classroom, but now we're just being able to build in where we have multiple volunteers in one classroom to do small group reading to even engage more. And so, we're just expanding that significantly too, because we see it's important. So literacy rates, graduation rates, and then I think that's all quantitative data. There's also qualitative data that's great. So we love to keep in contact with our alumni. We love to have them come and speak about what it meant to them, like why, we can give you numbers, but if you don't have anybody saying it was fun, like, yeah, we did it just to do it. But if you didn't enjoy it, that's something else. But we have students coming back. Our office, a lot of our program coordinators were actually participants in our program, which I think is a really cool, thing to see and to hear them that they graduated through it and now they want to come back and continue to see that other students do that. That's, I think that's a measurement of success in itself. And then again, those success stories that students can tell us are really, really neat. And so we like to highlight those when we're able to. And it's cool when you're just out in the community, because I go, we recruit and we'll run into somebody and they'll be like, oh, I was in P4K. If you guys need anything, let us know. Those are the kind of stories that I think show that the success, even if it's not a number and that person hasn't been involved for like 3 years, that they still remember it. It means something. And they're like, yes, I would love that. So that's really cool too.
Definitely. The fact that your former participants are able to come back and now be, volunteers or coordinators speaks volume, of the success of the program and the impact that it's having in the community. So that is awesome. We have just a few minutes here, but let's see if we can do 2 more questions and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay.
Yeah. What strategies can P4K use to ensure that its programs are inclusive and accessible to all students, regardless of their background or personal circumstances? I know we have already touched on the transportation aspect of things, but if you can, briefly comment on a few other things, that would be great.
Yeah, so I know right now we're in the process of revamping our DEIA committee, which is big because we want to make sure that in all ways our students are feeling represented, they're feeling heard, that our families feel represented and heard, and our staff as well. So that's something we've been working on with inclusive communities to check over some of the culture that we have in our organization and the systems we use. So that's a really important piece. We like to be present at a lot of the local community things and just making sure, neighborhood meetings, the parades in the summertime, other, organizations, even being part of Midlands African Chamber, I think is one of those ways where we can connect and talk about stuff and we get to learn more than if we just were to stay in the lane that we always did. But also, I think, yeah, transportation was one. We have a bilingual team at our office. And so again, 50% are Hispanic Latino. So we do actually do most of any programming information materials we have are also done in Spanish. Currently at all of the events we have with families, we have a live interpretation. So we try to make sure that is accessible when we can. And we have a partnership with Lutheran Family Services now to have language access through their global language GLS, Global Language Solutions. So we are able to do other languages. And so we want to make sure that that's not a barrier to assisting students and for families to know about our programming, to feel like they can check in on our programming and understand what's happening, because sometimes that's a gap. The student could say, yes, I want to participate. And I know they can take that form home, they'll sign it themselves or have an older sibling sign it, bring it back. And that mother or father or whoever might not even know that it happened, right? So we want to make sure that we're making it, doing the phone call, due diligence to check in with that family using language access. So that's something that we got this year that we're really excited about, because I think that'll be an opportunity to allow more students to participate. And then I forgot to say the biggest thing, there's no cost to our programming. It is free. All of the things are free. We start college field trips in fourth grade. Every fourth grader in elementary school gets to go visit UNO. We do multiple field trips throughout, activities, the cooking classes, things like this. Everything is free. And so that's a barrier that we never want to have for our students, that they can't participate. Our students and families can't participate because of the cost. So that's something that we really strive to make all of our programming, and we love to support them. And the other extra stuff, we had a backpack drive, we have success packs for students if they don't have the extra things. So yeah, we really just want to support in so many ways. But I mean, it's something that constantly keeps changing. I think you always have to be doing trainings, you have to be learning, you have to be present and willing to accept feedback, to be that like safe, inclusive space, and be present and relevant, and just reacting to everything that's needed. So I think we've been really fortunate. We're kind of small, but our team is pretty diverse, and I think that gives good perspective and connecting with our students. I think students really dictate a lot of the inclusivity and stuff. Like, they're the ones that are going to tell you, that are going to be honest. Yeah, so they're the learning. That's why I say, as for our mentors going in and stuff, like, they're going to teach you a lot. So you think you know, but you didn't know.
That's right. Well, thank you so much, Lacey, for these great detailed answers. And I couldn't agree with you more. Just keep on revamping your programs, staying up to date, and just making sure that the information that you are providing out there is the best, for the interest of our students and our participants. So
Yeah.
thank you for the great work that, Partnership for Kids is doing in the community. We
Oh,
definitely appreciate you all. Um, so before we conclude, I would like to take a moment to just go over some of our upcoming events with the Midlands African Chamber. Join us on November 16th in Omaha, Nebraska for our annual Gratitude Gala. It's an evening dedicated to celebrating our community and the progress that we have made. Registration is still ongoing for Cohort 4 of the MAC Accelerator program, dedicated to empowering startups and small businesses, led by BIPOC entrepreneurs across Nebraska and Iowa. Applications are open through August 30th. Our Umoja forums continue to be a valuable resource for networking and professional development. The next forum will be held on August 28th. We are thrilled to announce the Blocks 20 Under 20 Nebraska in partnership with MAC. Yeah, Joy brings light and yet illuminates. Join us also on September 21st for the Mac Foundation's upcoming Suit Up event. We're at the end of our program here. Thank you all so much for joining us. Again, thank you one more time, Lacey, for this good presentation again today.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, on that note, we will close and see you next time. You guys have a great evening.
Bye.
Bye-bye.